Welcome to another Business and Personal podcast where we bring you closer to the people you do business with. And we're thrilled today to have Marina Rothway on with us. She's the founder and CEO of Circle ABA, doing great things out there in Spokane. And just want to learn more about what ABA is, what you do, and how you can help people. So, first of all, Marina, I know you're busy. Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited about it.
So it's the business and personal podcast. So first of all, we want to get people to know a little bit to know about you and how you ended up at Circle ABA. And this started way back in your high school days.
It did. In high school, I had an opportunity to mentor a peer with special needs. We built a friendship, and I got to see a side of special needs, special education I wasn't aware of. I was just very interested in it. And, after that, I pursued a career as a special educator, and I got to teach a bunch of cool kids to do cool things. And then I kind of grew from there, and now here I am in the ABA world. There's a lot of correlations between what I do now and special education. So yeah, I'm just very happy to be here doing all the hard work.
Follow your passions, following your passions, that never fails in the business world. So that's cool to see that you've stuck with that all this time, and you worked with other companies, kind of saw how they did things and ended up really just crafting it into the way that you wanted to do it, the way you saw it best with Circle ABA, correct?
Yeah, I worked at a couple different non-public schools and a couple different ABA agencies and clinics. One of them was a startup. So I got to see an established business do it, and they did a lot of things right. And then, like all of us, there were areas of growth. And I worked at a startup, and I got to be part of starting with almost nothing, and the paths that we had to take to get to where the business needed to go and to serve more families, and do it in a timely manner. And then I pretty much applied all those experiences to craft my own thing, and here we are with Circle ABA.
Love it. Well, people always love to see a success story like that, someone taking the leap and doing it the way they want to do it. So happy to see that growth. So before we dive into Circle ABA, let's talk about the ABA part. What is this? There seems to be a lot of misconceptions out there. It can be a controversial topic at times, as you have seen. In your best way, explain what ABA is and where we're at with it nowadays.
Yeah, so ABA is an acronym. It stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. It's pretty much a science around how people learn, how they behave, what impacts learning and behavior. So that's what applied behavior analysis is. And we apply that science to teach skills, to teach communication. I mean, there is a big world out there, and there's all kinds of opinions. I've heard many of them. I've heard a lot of positive things, great success stories from families who felt saved. And I've also seen the darker side of it. ABA is a newer science compared to a lot of sciences out there. And so I think that makes it a little bit more difficult for people. There isn't the 60, 70, 80,000 years of this, it's newer. I'd say some misconceptions are that ABA cures autism, and it does not cure autism. We treat the core symptoms of autism. We teach needed skills. Another misconception is that we're creating robots and people who don't think for themselves, that we're just drilling skills, and then that they just robotically kind of repeat what they've learned. And that's not true either. We teach skills to then allow people to take that and apply it however they want, to think independently, to advocate for themselves, and to, make friends and live the life they want to live. So we just kind of give them a jump start and push them forward.
From all my experience working with companies like yours, the end of the day, the goal is pretty much the same. All these kids have certain superpowers. Everybody's got, a different talent or whatever. You're trying to find out through trial and error what that special skill is with that child, and what is, personalizing it. What is the particular method that's going to bring out the best in each individual child? Is that kind of the best way to sum it up?
Yeah, definitely very individualized. I mean, I've never seen two cases of autism, they're the same, or two treatment plans that are the same. It shouldn't be cookie cutter. So yeah, we do a variety of assessments. We get to know the family, their culture, just their dynamics. And then we individualize a plan, what are their priorities, what's going to be most effective for that person. And then we just kind of work through that process.
All right. So now that we've established this is what ABA is, let's get into Circle ABA, a little bit. Like any smart business owner, you went about it slow. You weren't going to come in guns blazing and get in over your head. You wanted to make sure your ratios were in line with your caregivers and your customers, and you've maintained that to this day. How important was that, first of all, just to establish the quality of service that you were going to take on and not get too crazy with it right off the bat?
Yeah, definitely very important. I've seen a lot of agencies go crazy with it, and they just they take on a whole bunch of clients and then they kind of work backwards. Well, now we have to find staffing, and now we need to make sure that we can maintain quality of care and clinical excellence. So for me, we did it kind of the other way around, where we put all the foundations in, right? The clinical standards, the processes, making sure that we have staffing and quality staffing and quality plans and programs before we take on clients. So that was a priority for me, is to build that foundation. That takes time, right? And then we bring on people, and once they're stable, then we can bring on more people. And then throughout all of this is, quality audits, just making sure everyone's program is excellent and appropriate, and that it stays that way, and that we're not, again, overwhelmed and then we cloud things and water down programs. So that was my approach.
And every clinic has a different approach, as well as terms of where they give their care. You like to go right where the child's at, go right into the home. Why not, establish that routine where they're most comfortable? Is that the model you want to stick with forever? You feel like that definitely suits you best?
Yeah, research shows, especially the science of applied behavior analysis, that ABA is most effective in the environment where the behavior occurs and where the learner learns. So just the person learns, interacting with their environment. Usually with children, we see a lot of their needs at home, right? Transitions, mealtime, bath time. That's where the behavior happens. That's where you address it. Also with schools and daycares, preschools, that's where they're having challenges maybe, or areas of need. So you have to address it there. There are situations when it's best to pull a child out of their natural environment to have more control and structure initially. And then you want to fade that out as soon as possible into a natural environment. That happens less often. I have some dreams around eventually having a vocational center, and that's be more about teaching vocational work skills to adolescents with autism. I think that's in the works someday, but I don't know about having a clinic setting for ABA, perhaps one day.
Well, and I'm sure mom and dad appreciate that too, with their crazy schedules. Anytime you can come right to the home, that's where so many things have evolved now. Mobile service, people come into your home. So in that sense, it makes a lot of sense as well. So we've talked a lot about, you and I offline, or just other clinics I talk to. It's the early diagnosis, early treatment. It's no different than heart disease or any other medical condition that you might have. The sooner you catch it, the better your chance of success. I think some people might be surprised at how early the treatment and intervention should start. So just, I guess, tell the listeners what your thoughts are around that.
Yeah, and like everything else with ABA, and really any therapy, it has to be individualized. So it's going to look different for every person, but definitely as early as you're seeing signs and symptoms, get help right away. Young brains are very malleable. They're able to absorb information a lot quicker than an adult can. Their synapses are connecting. They're ready to learn and absorb. And the sooner you can, for example, teach communication or someone to ask for help, the sooner you're going to see less behaviors around not being able to communicate, for example. So you want to start sooner. You also don't want to have a situation where someone has needed help for 3 years, and at the age of 5, finally they're getting ABA. Well, now they've had 3 years of learning history of negative interactions and of not being understood and not maybe being able to make a friend or participate in a group activity at school, for example. So it's also about that learning history. We want to keep it positive for people, and get them going as quickly as possible.
And for any parents that maybe searched and found this podcast on the internet, the reason that they were searching is they think maybe their child is on the spectrum from some of the behaviors they're seeing. If you could just give a few examples of if this, or this is happening, that maybe you should get a diagnosis?
Definitely, I recommend the CDC website has a great milestones tracker. They also have an app that you can download on your phone for free, track your child's milestones, making sure that they're meeting milestones. And if they're not meeting milestones that are listed there, talk to your pediatrician. And even without the app, just go to your doctor, talk to a teacher or counselor to get some help and get an evaluation, and definitely do it as quickly as possible. For the same reasons we just kind of talked about early intervention.
And they could contact you at Circle ABA to get that process started, correct?
Yes, they can. Yeah.
So, where do you think we're at right now, Marina? I think things like Autism Acceptance Month really help people understand what these children are going through, how to interact with them. The thing I hear most often is these children want to communicate normally. They want to have normal relationships. They just struggle to go about it. And I think the more we learn about how to interact with children on the spectrum, it's only going to help. From the outside looking in, it feels like progress is being made. How do you feel on your end?
I definitely think progress is being made. You hear more positive, I think, out there about autism more recently than you did maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. I think there's also been a larger focus on like neurodivergence, and I think we need to be talking more about that. That there are bright sides to autism. There are gifts that they can provide to society and to the world that you can't get from someone who's neurotypical. So yeah, I think focusing on the gifts that it brings is important, and I think more of a focus there. I feel like there's already a large focus on all the areas of need that we hear about all the time. So just looking at it from the other perspective of it is there are also gifts that come along with it.
And what are your goals with Circle ABA? I know you've touched on a few of your dreams, earlier, but maybe even in the shorter term, next couple of years, what are you looking to do just to continue your mission to help people?
Definitely, like you mentioned, just more awareness, just getting more information out there, informing parents so that they know what to look for and can get help sooner. So just working with my team to be more present and out there for people to find us and to hear about us and to hear about what ABA is doing right and how it can really help people. But I think for me, other than just awareness, is also just slowly scaling, maintaining clinical excellence, and then reaching more families, serving more families, and also making their dreams come true too, not just mine.
Love that. Well, hey, on that note, that's why we're doing this podcast, to connect you with more people that you can help. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I always like to end on a high note, Marina. So give me an example of a success story, one that really kind of warms your heart, that you'll never forget this one.
Yeah, throughout my career, a lot of ABA agencies, some of them focus primarily on those under 5, or those that are still like in primary school. As a teacher, I spent a lot of time working with transition age kids, which are like adolescents, young adults. So there is a special like spot in my heart for that age group. So on that topic, I guess I had a client who he was in his early 20s, living at home, had autism, and with autism, some people experience a lot of anxiety because he was very high functioning, but he was very aware of where he was skill wise and that he was different. And so he had a lot of anxiety around leaving the house, around like what might happen if he leaves, had some areas of need around socialization, making friends. Like he had absolutely no friends, and he really would only interact with his mom and grandma. And so we worked really hard with him and his family for a while, because again, his learning history is a lot broader than a 3-year-old. He's 21. So a lot more to even undo in that situation, as well as to teach. So slowly, we faded in, social interactions. For him, he was a gamer. So it was like teaching him to make friends online, which felt safer for him. And of course, it was always supervised. But like chat groups and like chatting about things he was really into, like certain games and videos and shows he was watching. And then we faded that into, well, let's meet up with some of these people in person, like at an arcade or something. And it took probably a year total, but we got him out of the house. He felt comfortable, safe, now has a small group of friends, and feels comfortable like interacting with people who aren't just his mom and grandma. And now he's got this life where he's getting a lot more joy out of his life, right? He's got a group of friends, And, so yeah.
That's just an awesome example of the personalized approach of finding that one thing with that child and really making it shine. It's almost got to feel like putting pieces of a puzzle together when it's pretty satisfying when you see it all come together, I'm sure.
Yes, for sure. And I think that's why it's important to individualize, but also include feedback from the family. A lot of our goals come from an assessment that we conducted. Okay, well, that's great and that's important, but also like for that family, what's important to them? And for them, it was like, getting them out of the house. And then for him, it was gaming. And we could build personal interests into any goal, and that's part of individualization, is making it, relatable for that person and to get their buy-in to participate too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for the people that are still listening to this podcast, I think they're certainly interested in working with you in one way or another, maybe actually working with you as an employee, or they have a child that they need help with. And guess what? The great news is, with Marina building her business the way she has, as smartly as she has, not only does she have enough clinicians to serve you, she doesn't have a waiting list as of right now. So she can get you in there pretty quickly. So on that note, Marina, if someone either wants to come work at Circle ABA or they want to have you work with their child, what's the best way to reach out and get started?
I'm sure. You can go to our website, theautismimpactcircle.com, and there's resources there for people who are interested in services. There's a messenger up there, and also a text line up there, and also a careers page. So something for everyone.
Fantastic. And all that information's on the screen. If you're listening to the audio version, go over to the YouTube version. All that info is on there. Show notes will have a link to her website. We'll make it quite easy to get a hold of Marina. So, hey, again, thanks so much for your time today, for all the amazing things that you're doing with Circle ABA. And we hope to continue to help you grow as much as we can. And again, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.